Listen to me. Kevin Durant belongs in the GOAT debate. Okay, before you MJ and Bron fans start cussing and putting on your GOAT debate pants, that's not what we on today, so don't even start. What I really want to talk about is how ridiculously gifted and how unimaginable KD's attributes are for basketball. And yes, I know every video on YouTube talks about his handles and shooting ability at his size, so it's getting oversaid. But I'm gonna prove to you how Easy Money Sniper, or my personal nickname for him, God's gift to basketball, makes every player around him better, how he's changing the way the game is coached, and how good of a leader he actually is. The man is built different. He's an anomaly. Let's eat some hoops, boys. Now, before Wemby, KD was the video game character. It's like when you went to the My Player Builder and you maxed out all the sliders. Next thing you know, you hop into a game, then your homie starts calling you a cheater because you're whooping them. So then you go back to your build, pull the sliders back just a little bit, to make it fair. Kevin Durant, aka God's gift to basketball, is rare like that in real life. There have been players who were a bit like him in the past, but they were never close to his level of consistent production over the years. Guys like Andrea Bargnani, Rashard Lewis, Danny Granger, even Bird and Dirk, who had serious you can't block me type of height and could still shoot. Some of them had a bit of handles, but KD is a hybrid of these guys. Of all the guys on this list, none of them had ever won a scoring title. The Slim Reaper has 4. The first one he got when he was just 21. He's the youngest scoring champion in the history of the NBA. And don't even get me started on bro's handles. Dude has more handles than a stretcher. Just ask these victims of Easy Money sniping. There are no other 7-footers in the NBA that are a legit triple threat. Kids argue that Porzingis, AD, and Giannis have their moments, and they're right. You don't want the Greek freak coming downhill at you, and AD and KP are kinda nice, but none of them are at God level like KD is. None. Period. If you've been following basketball for more than a week, you know about Mamba mentality. Similar to that, if you've been following basketball for more than a week, you must have heard the rubbish narrative that Durant is soft.
In this league, the reality is clear. Kevin Durant didn't necessarily embrace that because he's jumping on the bandwagon.
It always baffles me when I hear idiots regurgitate the media push narrative that KD is soft. What I usually do is ask them to explain, what do you mean by that? They'll say, oh, well, I mean, he left OKC to go play with the team that beat him, so he's soft. Ah, I see. So let me see if I get this correctly. KD wants to be a champion. His team wasn't good enough, though, because his GM didn't have the sense to keep James Harden and Jeff Green. So Durant was smart enough to know he had to leave and was also sensible enough to know he shouldn't go to a weaker team. And that, by your reasoning, makes him weak?
Well, he's always going to super teams.
Oh, so you mean to tell me that I've always liked guys like the Big Ticket, the Truth, and Shuttlesworth, but all along they were weak? What? Man, I also like Bosh, Wade, and Bron, but now you're saying those are some weak ballers. I hope y'all see the stupidity and hypocrisy behind the argument that KD is weak because he played on super teams or because he left OKC. On the contrary, the way that Durant thinks the game both on and off the court is what makes him mentally tough. Imagine having the Slim Reaper mindset that you need to kill everything that faces you on the court. It could just be a simple pickup game against toddlers. It doesn't even matter. KD said in an interview that he tries to find the simplest reasons to get mad at his opponents so he can start killing without remorse. He basically said, you are what you practice. So he goes hard even in pickup because that'll translate to the NBA. You can tell he stands on business all the time. Just look at his career numbers. Never mind that he's one of the oldest guys in the league. Look what he's been able to do since the start up till now. Last season in 2024, he averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. I guarantee if you go to the Suns coach at the beginning of the season and ask what he thinks KD's numbers will be this season, he'll tell you right around 27, 7, and 4. You don't produce at that level for so long, seeing double and triple teams every night while being soft. You just don't. Another rubbish media narrative that we have to debunk is that God's gift to basketball isn't a leader? What? Every time I hear this, I scream at the TV! Have you ever heard of leading by example? Guys, if leading by example was a person, it'd be KD. People have to realize that there are more than one way of doing things. I personally don't need you to come punch me in the face to motivate me. If I go to work and see my boss arriving on time, working hard, and then some, if I witness him honing in on his craft, showing up in all the big moments when I need him, I'd for sure follow that guy to the end of the world. At least to the end of my employment. Bruh. That's a leader. The guy who doesn't take summers off and comes to camp overweight. The guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball. The man who trains until it hurts every time. The guy who says, we need a bucket, give me the rock. That's leading by example. Imagine if he had a full roster of guys who behave the way he does. Psh, game over. Destroy the argument about KD not being a bus driver. That man is the driver, the mechanic, the car wash guy. He's everything. People say Kevin Durant is a cheat code, but then those same people want to talk crazy on that man's name. He's the type of player that you can plug into any team's system and he fits. We all know this, but what critics fail to recognize is that he not only fits, but he immediately improves all other players on the team the moment he's added to the roster. Think about it. Not many hoopers do these two things. One, he commands a double or triple team, so it makes it easier for the others to get their open shots. And two, as we said earlier, he's a walking bucket from anywhere on the floor. This is an immense confidence booster for everyone on the team. Knowing you have this cheat code on your team and opponents don't, it's like wherever KD is on the floor, the whole squad has team takeover. But above all, the last thing I want y'all to think about when you consider how rare KD is because this man is changing the way coaches are training taller kids. How many hoopers in the history of basketball can you truly say has or is changing the game to that extent? Only a few, I can tell you. In the past, once you were taller than the average kid in middle school or high school, you were taught how to play in the post and shoot free throws. That's it. You did the Mikan drill until you dropped. But since KD, the game has changed. Taller players are working more on ball handling and shooting. This guy is a blueprint. Just look at the new stock of talent. The Wembys, the Cheds, the Sars. Who do you think these guys are emulating? Not only are they building off of KD's game, but they are also copying his body. Tall, slim, strong, and flexible blueprint. And that's what I got. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I was trying not to stir up any GOAT drama because I truly believe that our personal GOAT is who we identify with, who inspired or impacted us the most, and that's not gonna change. but I just have to stir the pot a little bit before I go. Tell me this, game to 21, KD 1v1 with Mike, who wins? Or KD versus Braun to 21, who wins? What about 5 KDs on the floor versus 5 LeBrons? Or 5 KDs versus Jordan? Which team wins those games? I'll see you in the comments.